Here, Ukrainian forces from the Azov Brigade have released footage, they say, shows an intense close-quarters engagement against advancing Russian troops, highlighting the brutal nature of fighting along the Eastern Front. According to the brigade, reconnaissance elements detected Russian forces moving toward Ukrainian positions before launching a carefully coordinated ambush. The engagement quickly developed into a close-range firefight, with soldiers exchanging rifle fire, grenades, and maneuvering through wooded terrain and fortified positions. Video published by the brigade appears to show Ukrainian troops using concealment, coordinated movement, and supporting drone reconnaissance to gain the tactical advantage before engaging Russian soldiers at short distances. Similar combat footage released during the war has illustrated how dense forests, trench systems, and limited visibility often force both sides into dangerous close combat rather than long-range engagements. Military analysts note that small unit tactics have become increasingly important as both Russia and Ukraine rely on drones for reconnaissance while attempting to exploit gaps in defensive lines. Ambushes by reconnaissance and assault teams can disrupt enemy advances, inflict casualties, and delay offensive operations without requiring large-scale assaults. The exact location and timing of the engagement have not been independently verified, and casualty figures claimed by either side remain difficult to confirm due to the conditions of the ongoing conflict. Battlefield footage released by military units frequently provides only a partial view of events and should be interpreted with caution until corroborated by independent sources. The encounter underscores the continuing intensity of frontline combat in eastern Ukraine, where dense forests, trench networks, and fortified positions continue to produce fierce engagements at extremely close range. As the conflict evolves, both Ukrainian and Russian forces increasingly combine infantry tactics with drone surveillance and precision strikes in an effort to gain localized battlefield advantages.
Go, 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 go!
As Russian combat power and offensive capability drained, the Ukrainians maintained an active defense. The Ukrainian Third Army Corps conducted repeated local counterattacks supported by artillery strikes and drone operations, which continuously drained Russian manpower and resources, preventing them from launching larger assaults. However, Ukraine was quietly preparing something larger. The timing reflects months of preparation, as once Russian advances stalled, Ukrainian commanders gained the opportunity to rotate forces, improve logistics, accumulate reserves, and conduct extensive reconnaissance efforts. At the same time, Ukrainian strikes continued to degrade Russian supply routes over the Zherebets River by targeting pontoon bridges. As a result, by the time Ukrainian forces launched their offensive, Russian formations had already suffered heavy attrition while being stretched across an increasingly vulnerable salient. As you remember, Ukrainians had jump-started their counterattacks by launching a deep breakthrough into the northern part of the Russian salient.
Готовьте следующий, переходи дорогу!
Раз, два, три, давай!
Now, Ukrainians built on that momentum and quickly retook control of a forest strip to the west of here. This pincer attack cuts off consolidated Russian control over Ridkodub and places Russian soldiers inside in an operational encirclement. However, the assaults did not end there. To the south, Ukrainians conducted a similar pincer maneuver on Russian forces in Shandry-Holov, cutting off Russian control of Seredny. While Russian forces in these pockets are not fully encircled, Ukrainian pressure on their rear means that any and all Russian reinforcements sent in are immediately tied down between the Ukrainian pincers. This then allows continuous FPV drone strikes to degrade Russian positions before Ukrainians move in and clear the full area without taking any friendly casualties. Importantly, the Ukrainian Third Army Corps is extensively using ground attack drones to achieve its successes, as seen in various footage from the area. These ground drones allow Ukrainian soldiers at the tip of the pincers to maintain stable supply lines, with these robots being extremely resistant to Russian artillery and mortar fire, and even Russian FPV strikes. Additionally, ground attack drones play a major role in their ground assault operations. Smaller vehicles akin to remote-controlled toy cars are strapped with explosives and driven straight into Russian bunkers or buildings, detonating and collapsing entire structures and strongpoints full of Russian soldiers at barely any cost. Then, on the larger drones, Ukrainians mount heavy machine guns to engage Russian soldiers directly or suppress enemy positions, allowing Ukrainian assault troops to close the distance safely. These machine gun ground drones excel at their task, as on the Ukrainian battlefield, staying light and mobile during an assault can mean the difference between life and death for soldiers under heavy enemy drone observation and strikes, as well as drawing enemy fire onto the way more heavily armored ground drone. As Ukrainian forces expanded their breakthrough, Russian commanders attempted to rush reinforcements across the Zhirobets River to stabilize the front. Understanding the importance of preventing this, the Ukrainians took countermeasures, and these efforts quickly turned into another series of disasters. The Ukrainians have established firm FPV fire control over the crossings, preventing the enemy from reinforcing the areas under Ukrainian attack. Released footage shows even single Russian soldiers being targeted while trying to cross the river, while the vehicles used to transport them to the crossing points are also hunted down by Ukrainian drone operators. Overall, the Ukrainian counteroffensive against the Russian salient near Liman is steadily producing results by combining sustained attritional pressure with carefully prepared offensive operations. The Ukrainian forces have expanded their breakthrough and placed the entire salient under increasing risk of collapse. while the extensive use of ground drones continues to preserve Ukrainian lives while improving their battlefield effectiveness, allowing Ukrainian commanders to maintain relentless pressure on increasingly strained Russian forces. Through these developments, the Ukrainian battle to eliminate the Russian salient north of Liman is showcasing how Ukraine transforms active defense into an offensive opportunity. And recently, Kherson became the first sector where the Ukrainian strike campaign produced results. Ukrainian units equipped with medium-range strike capabilities have been instructed to focus their efforts on disrupting logistics lines between 20 and 150 kilometers behind the front line. This aims to supplement the standard FPV drones, which strike up to 20 kilometers deep, and the ongoing deep strike campaign, which extends up to 2,000 kilometers deep. Ukrainian brigades have intensified their strikes and expanded their reach deeper into Russian logistical networks, effectively establishing a 150-kilometer deep kill zone.